My name is Lucas, and I have some recommendations for you. The first one is Harry and Walter Go to New York, 1976. James Caan and Elliot Gould are a cheeky vaudeville duo in the late 1800s in Sudbury, Mass. Their fortune-telling, magic wallet-grabbing routine gets them pinched.
Hold on a minute. I walked in here with $30 and I walked out with 20.
Hey, wait a minute. Some of my money's missing.
If everyone would look directly under their seats, I'm sure we can clear up this confusion. And run, Walter!
Michael Caine is a wildly wealthy and charismatically proper bank robber, Mr. Worth, who allows himself to be arrested.
You're under arrest.
Sergeant O'Reilly. Is that revolver loaded?
Oh, it is, sir.
Well, put it away before you hurt yourself.
He arrives for his stint by carriage with many lovely ladies in tow.
How many safes have you blown?
Well, obviously one too many, or I wouldn't be here, would I?
Burt Young is the passive warden. Caan and Gould continue their crafty enterprises.
A lock of hair from the head of Adam Worth, the Emperor of Thieves. Souvenir buttons from a shirt, all for 25 cents. We ought to be ashamed, Harry.
We got a business to run.
Caine is stupendous as he plots his most difficult heist while running the prison from his luxurious quarters. Diane Keaton comes to interview the famous safecracker and turns in an impassioned performance. The costumes and the intricate sets are highly detailed in this zany and lovable caper. Mickey 1, 1965. In Detroit nightclubs, Ned Beatty is a comic who drunkenly gambles and loses a large sum to people you don't want to owe.
I find out I owe suddenly a fortune.
He burns his ID, hops on a freight train to Chicago, and finds himself in a scrapyard in Shantytown. Comedian Benny Dunn makes an appearance.
I couldn't afford a room, and it was a warm night.
As Beatty begins to work some sleazy West Side gigs.
You ever wonder how an astronaut feels? How would you feel sitting on 150,000 parts built by the lowest bidder?
He gets offered a spot at a fancy joint on Rush Street, but it may be too high profile.
What, are you laughing or aiming?
In this throwback to 1930s talkies that even has some homages to silent film. There's a really nice tattoo bodysuit at 29 minutes and 30 seconds. That Darn Cat, 1965. The most amazing darn kitten, DC, for darn cat, roams the neighborhood looking for victuals, tricking a local bulldog, and following home a bank robber who took a hostage. Haley Mills from The Parent Trap is delightful, and Son, the Siamese, is a darn good cat actor in this lovable, for all ages, live-action treat.
DC! What are you doing here? You should be out prowling.
The Big Bounce, 2004. Owen Wilson is in Hawaii, and the native islanders are protesting the construction of a hotel. Owen goes to jail for clubbing Bullet-Toothed Tony in self-defense. Willie Nelson is the sheriff, and Morgan Freeman is the judge. Upon his release, his boss, Topper Harley, unemploys him. Lieutenant Dan is the devious developer who is mean to his side chick and married to Lilith from Frasier. Owen Wilson is lured by Sarah Foster.
Have you ever stolen any money?
Into another crime scheme, which sets off a series of entanglements. In this remake of a 1969 crime thriller.
Are you the one who hit that guy with the baseball bat?
Yes, ma'am.
It's $50,000, Jackie. Think about it.
How do you know?
I saw Ray put it in the safe.
Knights of the Running Man, 1994. Starring Andrew McCarthy. A cab driver in Las Vegas takes a fare to McCarran Airport.
Airport, international terminal. I'm in a hurry, too.
But a shootout ensues. When he gets back to his trailer, he finds the abandoned briefcase full of money. There's a brutal henchman played by Scott Glenn.
If you'd hired me in the first place, your money never would have ended up in a cab at the airport. And you'd be home in bed now.
And Wayne Newton, interestingly, plays a mob boss.
This is all out of your hands from this point on, you understand?
It's a pretty thrilling run for the money, and the cast plays their roles well. But another star is Las Vegas itself. There are plenty of splendid captures of the Strip and Fremont Street, casino lights, and marquees that have either been rebranded or have faced the wrecking ball. Mad City, 1997. starring Dustin Hoffman, John Travolta, Blythe Danner from Meet the Parents,
You've got to be kidding.
and Robert Prosky from Far Away. Garbage-ass Alan Alda tries to make himself relevant, but he's as unlikable as a 40-year ass rash. Rain Man is a TV news reporter covering a mundane story about budget cuts at the museum. Vincent Vega's position as a security guard was eliminated, and he takes museum goers hostage. The career-driven newsman has his big story and instructs Travolta how to play the situation.
Tell them that everyone is okay in here. You'll buy yourself some time.
In order to drive up his TV ratings.
We have some real news going on here. Laurie, don't blow this.
Speed Trap, 1977, on a channel called Car Chase Wonderland 2. Joe Don Baker is a freewheeling, undefined freelance tracker who drives a Starsky and Hutch type hot rod. There's a rash of car thefts that lead to high-speed chases and pileups. The lady cop from Dirty Harry Magnum Force, Tyne Daly,
It's my ass.
is a motorcycle cop who knew Joe Don Baker back in Frisco.
Well, you obviously know one another. Where the hell did this happen?
Oh, one of them karate chop sake classes up there in San Francisco.
Oh.
Robert Logio, Frank Lopez from Scarface.
Don't underestimate the other guy's greed.
Is the local drug lord who has a clandestine relationship with the police captain, Joe Don Baker, and his wide lapel shirts stumbles into a hornet's nest and is going to have to drive through every chicken coop and barricade.
Oh, no, you don't.
From here to the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix to save his hide.
I got you.
Chapter 27, 2007. Jared Leto bulked up and played Mark David Chapman, who assassinated John Lennon. And John Lennon is played by Mark Lindsay Chapman. And groupie Jude is played by Lindsay Lohan. Weird.
Hey, Jude.
Shot in front of the Dakota Hotel.
Well, you know why they call this building the Dakota? When it was first built in the 1800s, there was nothing up here. It was just farm. And they're like, well, if you lived up here, you might as well be living out in Dakota. And they also, they shot Rosemary's Baby here. The movie? No, the baby.
Chapman is crazy and somehow devolves. He has a two-party devil and angel conversation with himself after Lennon autographed his record. The killing was heartbreaking, and another bad part is how The Catcher in the Rye was the most relatable work of fiction for young people for a couple of generations, and then it would become known as a book that would turn someone into a crazed killer. I read it as a teen and didn't think much of it, and reread it a couple months ago and really enjoyed it. We're talking Serious Money, 1992, starring Dennis Farina. Two low-level thieves are put up to the classic scam.
You think he took off with the 10 G's, Jerry?
Took off? What do you mean he took off?
He took off. Took the 10 grand and he beat it.
What do you mean he beat it?
What do you mean? What do I mean? What part don't you understand? He took the 10 grand and he's gone.
They rob the place for an item, and anything else they find is theirs. Like in the movie Snatch.
What was in the case was mine. What was in the bookies was yours.
Which also stars Dennis Farina.
86 carats.
Where?
London.
London.
London. Fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Mary fucking Poppins, London.
Also featuring The Nanny.
I got a beauty parlor. That's a business.
Oh, boy.
And Mr. Ochmonek from Alf.
Am I an asshole?
Is there such a thing as a cross between a kangaroo and an aardvark?
Stop putting yourself down.
Of course, they figure out the ruse after they've put themselves at the scene of the crime in this likable, bumbling con artist movie.
You don't call? Boys really outdid yourselves this time.
We're gonna straighten it out, Valerie. We're gonna straighten it out. We were just working on that right now, right?
Right.
The Valachi Papers, 1972, starring Charles Bronson as Joe Valachi, who became the first mafia person to become a government witness. A mostly accurate portrayal of Vito Genovese, Lucky Luciano, Albert Anastasia,
We heathen! We heathen!
Bugsy Siegel, the Castellamari's War, and ultimately the killing of Joe the Boss Masseria, and then Salvatore Maranzano.
You know cops.
and the raided Appalachian meeting in 1957.
Did you just come from that house?
I am aware of my rights under the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments of the Constitution. Unless you have an arrest warrant, I can see you for infringing on my rights. Drive on, Joe.
What the hell did he say?
It came out the year after The Godfather, and although it wasn't as good a film, it was definitely overshadowed. I hope you enjoyed these recommendations. Thanks for watching. Check out this movie. We'll see you on the next one.